Good evening and welcome to the 2015 edition of Curriculum Connection. I'm Medford Schools Curriculum Director Laura Lundy. Tonight we will learn how tech ed is catapulting into the future by adding new engineering options for students. Technical education, otherwise known as tech ed, has always been a hands-on class. However, in the last few years, tech ed in Medford has elevated the type of work they've done in the classroom to include more engineering courses. Although students can still choose woodshop or welding, Medford students can now select from a large variety of engineering courses, such as Introduction to Engineering and Design, Principles of Engineering, Engineering Design and Development, and Civil Engineering and Architecture. Tonight we will highlight the two newest courses, STEM at the middle school and Civil Engineering and Architecture at the high school. Middle school students are required to take tech ed classes, but starting last year, 8th grade students now have the option of signing up for an additional tech ed class called STEM. Middle school tech ed teacher Scott Geisler explains.
STEM class is our engineering tech class, we call it. This is the second year, and we do engineering activities. We try to do activities that involve problem solving, group work, different aspects of engineering, tying math and science in with it. The project that we're working on now is a large-scale trebuchet. The inspiration behind it was that in 7th grade tech ed, we do work with smaller trebuchets. And the kids like it, they get into it quite a bit, and so I've always thought, well, if we could make a bigger trebuchet, I think that'd be a lot of fun. We could work in a little bit of math and a little bit of science with it. So it took a little while to get all of the pieces in place, but the kids now have assembled a full-size trebuchet. It measures about 16 feet long and about 15 tall.
8th grade engineering students explain how the trebuchet works and how they built it.
There's the counterweight and then the mass, and you pull the pin and the counterweight drops, so then the mass swings around.
We took a lot of screws, a lot of wood glue, and a lot of problem solving.
Students in the STEM class have learned that engineering is about trial and error.
The first time it kind of went straight up. So.
All right.
3, 2, 1!
Uh-oh.
We did a different mass and counterweight, and that worked better. And then we put a wedge underneath the sling pin, so it would delay the release point of the.
So then it would go farther and not as high.
After each trial, students discuss what went right and what improvements they will make next time.
We pretty much reached the maximum distance of the counterweight and projectile weight today with the mass of 4 pounds and the counterweight of 210.
As a culmination of the trebuchet project, the STEM students showcased their hard work on a Friday morning by launching a pumpkin through the air for all of the middle school students to see. For a few years now, the Medford High School Tech Ed Department has offered numerous Project Lead the Way engineering courses. This year, they added one more called Civil Engineering and Architecture. High School Tech Ed teacher Joe Gasser describes what students learn in the course.
Our new class is Civil Engineering and Architecture. It focuses mainly on the architecture part, but we do get into the civil with layout, water retention, stormwater runoff, the fresh water, the plumbing, and how that all gets to the house, pressure drop throughout the plumbing lines coming from the water tower, pressure drop at the head and at the house itself. We design a Habitat for Humanity house, which is a very small footprint house, but still has to have all the client's needs. We work on a library, it's called the Keystone Library. It's an actual library that they give us the walls and we have to put everything in and deal with all of the building codes, the American Disabilities Acts, codes, access, how many public bathrooms we need for how many people, green rooftops for water retention so that we don't have to dig a retention pond outside of it. Then they also will design a 20,000 square foot structure based on whatever needs we come up with for.
Last week, students were practicing the skill of surveying. Junior Matthew Reuter and Senior Jay Zerniak explained the skill.
Measuring the distance and kind of the elevation, raise and drop of a landscape.
Well, we're trying to calculate the distance and the elevation and how it changes from point to point.
Most all of the projects students work on in Project Lead the Way courses require using some math skills.
We have quite a bit trying to find the loss of temperature, heat gain, heat loss, that kind of thing, calculating it all out.
It'd have to be in at least geometry class because of the beam calculations. We calculate how much or what size beam we're going to need to support whatever load we're going to put on it.
Besides improving students' skills in science, technology, engineering, and math, Medford's Project Lead the Way classes have inspired students to study engineering as an occupation once they leave high school.
PLTW definitely shaped what I think I want to do for my future career. I'm looking more for civil engineering, something like that, architectural design.
There's definitely a different clientele of kids. These are your kids that take the AP classes more and don't necessarily have room to take a lot of tech ed classes. They're still getting some of the traditional tech ed, but not as much. But there will always be the traditional tech ed along with the new engineering tech ed that they have.
With exposure of engineering classes at the middle and high school, Medford students have a great advantage if they decide to go into the engineering field. And for those that decide on a different career, they will have learned valuable STEM and problem-solving skills that will help them be successful in whatever career they choose. For Curriculum Connection, I'm Laura Lundy.